Hi everyone, this is Sunette.
And I'm Joe.
And we're here today continuing with the Portal series. So Joe, let's jump right in.
Okay.
And what have you got for us?
For today's session, I wanted to open up with the statement, the first will be last and the last will be first.
All right, so this had also opened up quite a couple of times in, I think, recordings and discussion sessions with myself and Bernard and the Portal,
Yes.
where he explained once to me about those who were last will be first, those who are first will be last. And for some time, I didn't quite comprehend or understand what he meant by that when we started walking the process in heaven. Walking the process in heaven meaning introducing self-forgiveness to the demons, just witnessing the process and experience of how the demons were changing, which was quite something to be a part of, because demons having the bad name that they have in human consciousness, was never assisted and supported nor understood. Very few ever had an actual sit down with a demon, just had a conversation, getting to know the being. Really no different to any other being, just really going through a deep emotional trauma that they carried with them into the year after. So it was amazing seeing how, introducing self-forgiveness to them and how they started changing, and then starting introducing that change to other demons and beings. And from there, the process in heaven started.
Okay, I'm going to slow down just a little bit because I'm kind of putting in my shoes and my feet into the shoes of somebody that is not familiar with Destiny, with the history of heaven and that whole process. And I imagine if this was the first time I heard somebody say, oh, we had a process with demons, and I would just spin out. So what is a demon? Because my understanding is demons are beings like anyone else.
Okay. So just in a nutshell, I'm sure we'll continue with more detail as we continue with all the videos, is that when the portal opened, when I started portaling, having the access of being able to leave my body completely and having another being come through. It's like a souped up channel, if you will. So I would move as a being, move completely out of my body and have another being come through. Initially, we brought through so many different beings throughout the history of human civilization who we wanted to communicate with and ask where they've been, what they've been experiencing while I was out exploring all of heaven.
Yeah.
And I was quite amazed because around me there were also demons. And I was always also moving around humanity at that time. This was years ago, way in the beginning. There were just so many demon beings or beings that were just floating around, like repeating things over and over and over again. I was like, looking up and looking down, what is going on here? Because looking up, you see heaven dimensions, and all these dimensional planes, and you have these beautiful white beings and the angels and guards and so many different entities, but like mesmerizing. And I look down and here's these demons. Some were massive, others were human-sized, all shapes and sizes. Very scary looking, but I could see right through it. In other words, when I looked through into any demon or angel or guide, anything in the interdimensional existence, I could see their beingness, their core, their life.
Meaning how they looked didn't necessarily really represent who they were.
Yes, exactly. So they were just projecting things. So I was like having a little giggle by myself as I was more looking at these extraordinary beings.
Yeah.
And so obviously looking at, okay, how can we assist and support them? Because what they're representing and who they really are, I wonder if they know. So I started speaking and communicating with the demons and asking them, but, why are you showing me this, but I see you as that? And they didn't know what I was talking about. So then we brought the demons through, had them do some self-forgiveness, asked them about their emotions, their experiences, their traumas. And when they started doing the forgiveness, this demonic representation dropped and their real being came through. And obviously they could walk that process a lot faster through the portal with the interdimensional existence or the heaven existence because of having quantum time access. So that's where that started.
Okay.
And then we just started looking at, obviously, that's where the process started, which we have done many videos in the beginning when I was
Yes.
pretty young.
Way back in the day.
Yes, way back.
About a decade ago, actually.
Wow. And that was the beginning, really. We had just started portaling, cross-referenced, obviously, the portal and the information for about 1.5 years before we made anything public. Made sure that, look, the communication, the information was constant, consistent, the same. And then from there, all the beings had started doing videos. We did it in real time. We were walking the process in real time with everyone, with the audience, with the public. So really, everyone, in a way, literally saw me mature and grow up, as me, as the portal, as my process, live in front of everyone.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a journey in the process. But now getting back to the question is, it was just something that was kind of spoken about over and over again. And I only very recently also realized what that meant, which is that we first started this process of walking, getting through the mind or consciousness, getting into your real being, your life source. Because even beings in the heaven existence were controlled by a mind or a consciousness or an illusion, disillusioned version of themselves. That history I walked a bit in the Equaf series, Journeys into the Afterlife there.
Yes.
And also Demons in the Afterlife. 2 awesome series done the Journeys into the Afterlife by various beings coming through the portal explaining how heaven existed then, and then Demons in the Afterlife, where one of the main demons that were part of the process from the beginning
Yes.
just explained a bit more about those dimensions. Paranormal series, also very interesting. So just to kind of get to know what happened, why did the portal open, what happened in the heaven existence, what does that mean for humanity, which is the most
Yes.
important thing.
Yes.
And only up until recently, I kind of understood the whole principle and concept of those who were first will be last, those who were last will be first, because all the beings who've walked a process with me have, in a way, given up and dedicated themselves to walking with me here in my body, in the portal, in this physical reality, this physical realm, to assist and support humanity in their life process in this lifetime as much as possible to transcend their consciousness, to live awareness in this physical reality, which is the one real reality and existence that in fact exists.